Hey, very good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our webinar. I am Anurag, your host and your presenter for the session. We are thrilled to have you here with us today for Twinmotion visualization and its cloud integration. So get just ready for the engaging session filled with insights and all the practical takeaways. So let's just get started with it. So here's a little bit about our organization. So we are now a part of global brand Arkans India. We are one of the most leading industries in the part of integrated solutions, and we are specialized in key services with a focus on unique value additions, as well as which adds a unique value addition and differentiator both of the factors together. Our commitment to excellence and innovations drive us to have exceptional results within the industry at bounded regions. Coming back to the part of today's agenda, we would be having the design advance brief, and then we would be moving on to the live demo aspects of Twinmotion, where we would be looking upon the high quality real-time rendering, as well as there are some comprehensive assets library sets within Twinmotion. We will explore a few of them. We'll also go through the process of realistic lighting and environmental conditions which are prevalent within Twinmotion. Uh, and we will have the path tracing and cloud presentation as well. So uh, today's agenda, we will be covering the key discussions around the Twinmotion visualization and cloud integration, which is helpful in having the visualization and evaluating a building as well. So we have Kanchan with us, and she would be taking you to the design advanced brief, and then we'll focus upon the key other aspects which we have put it onto our agenda. At the end, we would be having a Q&A segment, which will provide you an opportunity for interactive dialogues as well as clarifying your questions. So over to you, Kanchan.
Thank you, Anurag. Hi, everyone, whoever has joined us today. I know it's a busy and holiday for a lot of people, uh, but just stay with us and let's go through Design Advance Brief for one last time. So, as you may already know, the theme for this year's Design Advance competition is Architecture of Assembly, Industrialized Construction for High-Rise Buildings. And in this competition, you will be designing high-rise residential buildings and you'll be building them through prefabricated components. So firstly, we explored the theme. Uh, what do we want to achieve through this theme is we want to revolutionize the construction process because the process that we currently follow, it may lead to some issues like unorganized labor, workmanship issues, site management, and there is a lot of pollution that is also caused by construction. And this method of industrialized construction helps us mitigate all of these issues and actually helps us do better project management for the construction process. So, using industrialized constructions and in particular the prefabricated components, you will be designing a high-rise residential building or a complex that will provide safe and comfortable living spaces. You may have noticed that the residential high-rises, they are essentially just the same unit or set of same units stacked on top of each other. And as such, they have identical layout of units and there are repeating elements like the staircases, the railings, facade or balconies or toilets, etc. So, is there a way that we could save time, effort, expenses, and resources while building these high rises who are kind of repetitive in nature on different floors? So, how do we standardize these elements and can we somehow mass produce them to just stack them on site? So that is what industrialized construction and prefabrication helps us achieve. So what will happen is the foundation will be laid through conventional methods of construction And the superstructure elements like walls, floors, doors and windows, etc., they can be produced in a factory and they can just be brought to site and assembled thereafter. So the first step in the process would be standardizing these elements, the wall panels, the floor panels, the doors, windows, elements of your facade or your balconies and entire toilets. They can also be prefabricated. The next step would be producing these elements in the factory in high numbers, because for a high rise you're going to need multiple units of the same design. Then all of these prefabricated components, once they are manufactured, they'll be taken to the actual site, and on the actual site they will be assembled as per the design. Then you might wonder what can be prefabricated. So entire building systems like the fire stairs, the elevators, plumbing, the cooling units, ventilations, all of that can be prefabricated. Then there are complex elements that may not be as effective or as good looking when they are made manually or through other methods. So they can also be prefabricated for accuracy. Then there are components like the basic superstructure elements, the walls, floor panels, doors and windows, toilets, kitchenettes, balconies, all of that, they can be prefabricated too. So the first case study that you could look at and you can like really understand how this would work, particularly for the facade, is this building called 10 Degrees in London. You can notice this particular blow up diagram where it shows how the facade elements have been affixed to the building. And here you can see that there is a layout made and there are certain identical pieces or identical units that have been stacked against each other and then again stacked on top of each other. So what are the benefits of doing such a project by prefabricating components and like industrializing the construction process? So the first and foremost is the time duration decreases by a lot. So from the concept sketch to the handover of the building, you can see how tall this building is. So right from the concept sketch to the handover of the building, the timeline reduced to 39 months. Then the carbon emissions also reduced to 67% from the original number. And there was also a significant reduction in waste, and the quality of the building delivered, that was also significantly better. How did they achieve it? So they did they used a lot of virtual reality and 3D printing to make prototypes of these units. Then in these prototypes, they would figure out what works and what doesn't, and that prototype helped them prefabricate the actual real life size components, and then they were assembled at the site. A similar case study that you could look into yourself would be the Quakerish apartments in the Netherlands. And what is happening in this building is the kitchens, bathrooms, stairs, and facade, they are all prefabricated and they are placed on the site. So it's a highly standardized and rationalized structure. And you'll notice that there are only two kinds of buildings. The way they have kind of differentiated or created more of an interest in this project is through the different colored facades and how they've experimented with it. So it means that even if you're just using prefabricated components and stacking them on top of each other, it doesn't mean that you only have to design boxes or they should always be just plain boxes. You can have as much fun and you can show as much creativity as you can with these. Coming to the design task. So if you want to participate and send us your entries, you have to design a high-rise residential building or a building complex using industrialized construction with prefabricated building components. So for this, you will need to understand industrialized construction and prefabrication of the building components and create sustainable, inclusive, and accessible spaces. You also have to explore suitable construction materials and methods and of course, be as creative as possible. So, what would this help us achieve, or what would it show? So, it will help us demonstrate how a transition from an unorganized to an organized construction practice that addresses the issues of quality, the workers' protection, and the sustainability of the entire design and construction process, actually. So, in your design, please ensure that you maximize the use of industrialized elements and you standardized all the repeating elements like staircases, washrooms that we discussed. And of course, don't forget to draw inspiration from the uniqueness of the site, context, history, the local heritage, arts and crafts, whatever that you can use to make your project unique. Here are the competition guidelines. First of all, how to choose your site. So you'll choose an urban site, which means it should be located either in a tier 1 or a tier 2 city, ideally, with the area between 5 to 12 acres, and the minimum FAR that we are looking for is 3. Ensure that the green cover is at least 15% of the total site area. Follow the local bylaws or the National Building Code in case the local bylaws are not applicable or available to you. At least 50% of the design should be constructed using prefabricated elements, and make sure that you are showing this in your sheets because this is a very essential part of your design. So in 1 to 2 sheets, highlight what are the kinds of prefabricated components that you've chosen, what kind of materials you've chosen, and what is your predicted timeline using this process, etc. Here are the design considerations while you're going through your design process. First, the integration of industrialized components, then an in-depth research into the practice and materials, how sustainable your design is, and is your design promoting well-being in the structure for the inhabitants, and how creative your design has been. Prizes. Yes, this is a very important part. So there are cash prizes for the top 3 winners. The first position holder will get a cash prize of 75,000 rupees and a certificate. The second prize holder will get a cash prize of rupees 50,000 and a certificate. And the third prize holder will get a cash prize of 25,000 and a certificate. Top 10 entries will be published on the website, and all of the top 10 entries, whoever comes as a top 10 entry, will be published on the website, and top 5 of those will get free entry to the Capricorn BIM for Design program, which will be applicable to you in the next session. And all participants who have submitted the entries will get a discount voucher for the BIM for Design program. And the prizes don't stop there. Everyone who submits a valid entry will get a participation certificate for. Here are the participation details. Registrations will close on October 17. So in case you still haven't done it, make sure that you register before October 17th, and the submission will close on October 28th. So make sure you are done with your design and submit before time, so you don't get stuck on the night of October 28th thinking, oh no, the website has crashed down due to traffic. How do I submit my project now? Okay, so try submitting before the deadline. Who can participate in the competition? All undergraduate and postgraduate students of architecture, planning, civil engineering, and design are eligible to participate in the competition. Those who are graduating in 2024 are also welcome to participate. A maximum of 3 members per team is allowed, and you can also make teams with students from different academic years in your college, as well as different courses, or even different colleges. For example, if you have a friend who is an engineer and studies in a different college, you can also make a team with them. Just ensure that the team has at least one architecture student. Here are some questions that we frequently get asked. Is there any registration fee for the competition or the workshops? No, as you may have already known about the workshop, that there is no fee for Design Advance registrants. And Design Advance is also a completely free competition. There is no registration fee involved at all. Can postgraduate students take part in the competition? Absolutely, yes. Can the team members be from different colleges? We just discussed that you can make inter-college teams. In absence of local bylaws, which standards should we use? NBC or the National Building Code is the code that you should follow in absence of locally applicable bylaws and site regulations. Can we choose a site on our own? Of course, you have to choose your own site and ensure that your site chosen is in a urban area in a tier 1 or tier 2 city, and the area should be between 5 to 12 acres. Can we define our area programs? Yes, you can choose the functions and the distribution of space allotted as per your site requirements. Lastly, make sure that you have registered for the competition and are not missing out on any of the perks. In case you have missed out on the previous workshops, you can get access to all the recordings once you register for the competition. Once you register for it, we'll send you a list of all the recordings that are available straight to your registered email ID. So just scan this QR code or log on to www.designaddvance.in and register for the competition. Don't miss out on such a wonderful opportunity because you'll get to actually participate and compete with your peers from around the globe as the competition is globally open. So that's it for today. And make sure you listen well today and carefully because it's a very important webinar today that will tell you how to submit your entry. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Kansan. So now we'll move ahead with further topics. So after the Q&A session, we would be having the document submissions and its process, right? So first of all, the background image that you are looking at is one of the outputs that has been derived from the Twinmotion within the few seconds. So it derives, so what it does basically, so it does give you the full potential to visualize things at its finest. Coming back to the part that what is actually the Twinmotion. So talking about the product onto the product end side. So it's an Epic game product, but it has collaborated with the Autodesk as for now. So the number of solutions that Autodesk already has, so it has a great interconnectivity between both of the platforms. So you can sync both of the things together uh, while working on them. So it saves your efforts and times and manual efforts as well by making the things sync up in a common sort of platforms, right? So basically what it gives is it's a visual storytelling tool that gives you a real-time visualization based on your location feedback, as well as it brings your ideas and imaginations into the real life process. So you can detect how the buildings or any of the things that you are going to visualize, how it falls onto its place, how it will act, and how you can uh, minimize or optimize the things at its best and finest way. So that is what the Twinmotion actually does. Coming back to the part where we are talking about how much user friendly is this integration of the software is or the solution is. So it's very easy to use and it has limited number of options that are prevailed within. It has vast libraries, but it's quite easy to use in terms of interfaces. So simple drag and drop controllers are there, and for the beginners who are just switching on to the platform, they can have all those demo files, templates, and their learning toolkits from the Epic Games website as directly. So you can explore the things and you can learn them within an hour or two. Similarly, what are its advantages as compared to the other rendering solutions? So, as I said, it's a part of visualization where we are more into the renders, walkthroughs, looking at the positions, determining the entire buildings accordingly, visualizing them, as well as making our presentations onto the linking our own presentations to the cloud part platforms as well, right? So it gives you an assets of library. So there is no such solution which has such an integrated sort of libraries within which has been inbuilt. So it has been very well connected with the Sketchweb libraries, Megascans libraries, where things are with respect to the scanning parts, right? So it gives you those sort of integrated details as well. So there are two of the platforms that has been merged with Twinmotion library. Is one is Megascans. There you will find a vast sort of libraries with Megascans picture, which will be in the part of 3D formats. And Sketchfab is second part, where you can have integrated details and to the entire objects. So these are two most integrated part of solutions, as well as there are other parts like if you need an environment sort of stuff. So HDRI environments are there within the libraries, so you can apply those things, and everything would take their reflection based on the HDRI images. So you can very well see how the things are being integrated, as well as how a sky component has an effect onto your building surfaces and facades as well. Thirdly, the most important tool that comes with Twinmotion is to populate your environment. So initially, we used to work with like copy and paste sort of thing, or we are copying things multiple times down the project. So it takes a lot of effort and time to do that, right? Because yeah, sometimes surfaces are uneven. Sometimes you will get stuck with doing copy one by one, one by one. So doing an population tool, like it gives you more frequent, flexible things, and you can generate those particular environment by choosing or picking up an entire region or the entire surfaces that you need. So this is one of the most spatial elements that Twinmotion has uh, integrated into its solutions. Coming back to the part where we are discussing more with the advanced lighting materials and its effects. So now, compared to the previous version, now we have 2025.2, where we are more dealing with the uh, better real-time global illumination in terms of lumen, where lightnings are concerned with. Then we have libraries. Already the inbuilt libraries are there, but if you need to have your own customized libraries, you can access those PBR materials and can also develop your own materials using these 7 different posters. Because as PBR material is concerned, so PBR do have 7 to 8 different sort of parameters which are embedded within it. Just for an example, it has height, displacement, and other normal images. So likewise, it has 7 of the parameters embedded, and you can develop a more realistic materials in sort of your own libraries. Then it also has an Adobe Substance Materials, which also acts as a part of support, where you need to make the integrated details within the model itself. Just for an example, if you need to have pavers, something with gridded steel sections or something like that, so you can develop those integrated details just by using those pictures which are available to you in the Adobe Substance libraries. And then the most important part of it is like you can play with the time and day factor, seasonal variations, which can alter within seconds, and you can see how your buildings or how your structure would act at certain period of time at afternoon, night, and other evening stuffs. One more important part which most of the solution misses is the integration part, where we are more into saving our times and efforts so that one system is integrated with other in such a way that uh, it can help us to sync the things within. So initially, it should not make me to suffer for something like I am again uploading it, again working on the same model, again bringing those things back to the place. So it should be very well interconnected, right? if I make the changes onto the one end of the solution, it should automatically get integrated with the other end as well. So this is the one of the major things which has been integrated in the uh, Twinmotion part. So this itself takes it to the other platform. So as you can see onto the right hand side, how realistic images and renders it can give to us with a harmonious, beautiful images and background images as well. So those things you can filter it out. You can reach out to your customers at its conceptual phase to the execution phase. So at in each integrated phases of designs, you can work accordingly, and all those assets which you are sharing or you're saving onto your systems can get directly being shared onto your cloud platform. So there is no need of storing those assets onto your system libraries itself. So it will already be there with your account onto the cloud platform which Epic Games provide. So here's in a small video or the outcome. You can see how in walkthrough has been made using the Twinmotion tool. So this is how you can extract a beautiful outcome out of it, and you can present it to your customers and as well as your workflow design. So here you can see how your design is getting evolved from its conceptual phase to an execution phase. So you can do other stuffs as well when you're making a walkthrough out of it. You can go with the integrated details, how these other services gets overlapped with the drawings, and so all those together things you can visualize it within a single sort of time. So that is how it gives you an flexibility to work with, as well as syncing up the things within your seconds will make your task much more easier in comparison to working with those stuffs again and again. So all those stuffs that you have seen in the video, like lightning is one of the parts, other smoke factors, you can inbuilt your sound music at the background. You can see the variety of trees which has been populated around the surroundings, and it has been created within the sea and ocean. So you can develop your own entire sort of background images or surrounding accordingly. That is how it helps you out with in terms of visualization. Coming back to the part of roadmap, so there are certain new enhancements which has been evolved with 2025.2 version of it. So earlier there was no reluctancy. I mean to say is there were less features with compared to the water assets. So now it has more been evolved with the water transparency aspects as well as the path tracer involvement. Where earlier it was not there in terms of getting out the reflections, proper reflections onto the surfaces, so you can open those path tracers accordingly. Second is the part of glass optimization, certain enhancements in local exposures, then libraries, as I said, and certain other factors like snow and rain particles, which are the part of environment development or the seasonal variations. And here are a few of the outcomes that I would like to showcase with the help of Twinmotion, which we have developed. And these are like 4K resolution images, which has been just taken out in 1 to 2 seconds of time. So these are some of the outcomes that uh, Twinmotion helps you to take it out easily. Right now, I would be switching back directly onto my mm, platform, which is Twinmotion. So this is the very same project that I have showcased you on in terms of videos. So here you can see uh, how you can develop your asset. So talking about the interface, you have just 3 to 4 major regions where things are being collaborated. Like one is onto your left, which is your library. You can just switch on and off from here. Then you have certain other factors like whenever you need to have your renders and videos, media would come into play. And if you need to export those images and videos, there is the tab for exporting it. Similarly, there is tab for materials, and whenever you need to create your surrounding, you have this populate tab now. On to the right hand side, each and every element that you place is placed onto n layers where you can manage those things automatically with the help of layers as we usually do it in the AutoCAD system. So if I just select any of the elements, like you can see, it has been selected. So it's under the layer known as Sing, and I can manage it accordingly from within. So this is how layers help you out. And then all these properties, once the element has been selected, all those properties would come directly onto the right hand side below this ambient sort of interface, right? In order to change its atmosphere, you can go on to this particular day timing and settings. So once you have your model within Revit with a particular location established, and you're linking those model directly onto Twinmotion, it will take your location directly according to the weather station data. It will be giving you the particular intensities of light and surroundings also, right? If you need to move on with certain speeds, like if you need to enhance those things accordingly, so you can manage all those stuff accordingly within these particular iTab box. So in this way, you can just uh, have your entire visualization within the spaces as well. So if you need to walk to somewhere else, so you can just drive it accordingly. You can look at from and see how the structure is there. So you can also have those embedded interiors into it. So you can also visualize both of the assets together. You can take with most of the stuff. So I would be dealing with few of them right now. And if you just move on to materials, it's quite easy to use, I would say. So let's take this part. Yeah. So suppose I need to embed material, concrete or metal onto this particular surface. So you can see these are the various material textures which has been provided, and you can just drag and drop. So this is damn easy to use. So this drag and drop is one of the most simplest way to work with, and that has been integrated onto the plane. And then once you have been applied this, so you can see all those things with respect to this particular material appears on the right hand side. So you can make all those parametric changes onto this particular time. Which type of rotation do you need, or any scaling of a material? So you can do all those steps accordingly based out of the material uh, property. Right. Then coming back to the most important parts like ambience. If you need to have your ambience somewhere like this, you can move with that particular stuff. So I would, for an instance, I will take something an afternoon time. So this is something how we can have it onto the particular day scenarios of all. Now, if you need to add further more effects with the help of light and rain, you can do those stuff as well. So if this is snowy or you can develop all those stuff of all. So there are minimum sort of things onto the three ends of an entire screen you can see, and just you need to play with it somehow. Then coming back to the most important part, right? I would be showcasing two more library assets that like one is the mega scan part and the sketchfab part. And before this, like you can see, we can have the use of population tool. So I would be moving on to certain things like if I need to have a graph surface or something like that, let's take this one and I need to populate it. So comes under the part of foiling. So if anything which is movable, like if you need vehicles or human needs to move, there is the path to refer. Like this is, you need to define a path where they should. Similarly, with urban aspects, you would be having certain other aspects like other buildings in front, those you can populate it from here. And foliage is something which comes with trees, bushes, and other things. Right? So if I need to paint it, so paint is for the specific sort of region where you actually need it. So if I just need it onto this particular patch, I can choose paintbrush for this particular part. If I need to scatter it, so based on to the material identification, like once you have exported your file from Revit to Twinmotion, based on the material hierarchy, so it will take that material and scatter it onto the entire surface, which has a single sort of material entirety. So just for an instance, let's just scatter something. So this, I will just drag and drop this particular graph. I will choose it, and under the graph, I have this to scatter. So now you can see how integrated details does this solution can provide it to you, right? So in this way, you can develop your own surroundings. So within this entire surface, this has been scattered accordingly. Then you can maintain its density and some other properties which has been activated using this on the right hand side of it, right? So in this way, it helps you to populate your environment as well. One was the lightning factor which we have discussed. Other is like this population tool. And now coming back to the most important part, which is the library aspect. So if you are working something with respect to the environments, so you have certain additional factors like you can go on to HDRI environment. So based on your profiles, whether you are looking for an interior sort of shapes or exterior facades. So likewise, you have to choose the skies, whether low sky, morning and afternoon. So you can explore all those things. So these are something which are HDRI images. So once you drag and drop directly onto the atmosphere, what will happen is the entire surface of a building will catch a reflection of this particular sky. So all those integrated reflections, you can see it onto this particular thing. So now you can see one thing, it has been graded out. In order to make it active, you need to just make sure that you log in onto your user-based account. So once I do that, just by clicking, so you can see the authentication process has been completed successfully. Now I would be able to download these uh, library apps, right? And once this is done, I can just drag and drop that entire atmosphere onto the sky. So this is how this entire toolset of library works. And I need to showcase one more thing with respect to the Sketchpad library. So this is like the 3D implantations that you can see. It's the most integrated part of library. So yet it won't be active because it needs an exact activation from the Epic Game project. So right now, as I have logged in, so it hasn't been activated over here. But let's see what is an integrated detail I'm talking about. So I can just open this particular thing onto the Sketchpad platform. So now you can see, so all those animation sort of stuff onto the detail integrated part would be visible to you in the Sketchpad library. So you can utilize those motion sort of images accordingly as per your demand and based on your project by professional. So these are like you can see the picturizations or something like GIF we used to do, right? Motionful images. So those are like those 3D assets which is being available or being integrated onto the Twinmotion. Similarly, there is other tool sets which is being like Adobe or Mega Scans if I move it for. So these are like Mega Scan images. So you can find it out the 3D images, nature, street, barriers. Right? So all those assets are just inbuilt onto the system. And now once I have logged in, these are the basic things which can be automatically get activated once you log in by using your potential user IDs onto the application. Then coming back to the part where its outcomes are more important. So under the media tab, for example, I just need to set up entire of my atmosphere onto the systems I was doing by when I was not actually into the media tab, when I was just working onto the entire interface of Twinmotion. And now I need to just capture this image down. So I can capture it. And then once this has been captured, you can move on to export document. And this is not a video, so I can deselect all the videos from here and I can select down this particular image and I can export it. It will ask me for a particular folder and then it will be exported as in form of outcome for you. So you can share it with your clients, customers, or any sort of presentations you are making with it. So this will take you directly within certain few minutes of time with a 4K resolution. So these are like very same sort of images that I have showcased to you onto your PPT. So those were also a part of it. So it's just about playing with the environment. You're looking at the way how your ambience would be and how lightning and other stuff comes into play. So it depends on the particular user visualization as well. So now you can see this image has been exported to that particular folder, right? So in this way, this makes your work more easier and helps you to visualize it in much better prospect and its most potential with the finest of it. So this is it from my end. If you do have any questions on to the Twinmotion part, you can ask. Otherwise, we would be going with the further process of document promotion. I will be stopping my screen for now. So there is one of the questions like, is the Twinmotion free? So if someone purchases like AEC collection, so it has been integrated. You don't need to purchase it from the other end side, right? So, like if you are going for a single sort of license for and you're not using the AEC collection out of it, then it would take you to purchase it from the Epic Games directly. Then it would be not costly, but it would have a certain cost associated with the product. But whenever we are dealing with AEC collections, this has been directly incorporated by Autodesk with the collaboration with Epic Games. So the question like, uh, does the Twinmotion export a render with object material IDs? So no as such thing, it doesn't export. It will just give you an proper image based on the visualization. Similarly, it can give you or you can extract video out of it in the form of walkthroughs. But like in terms of material, you have to fetch it out from the respected solution which you are working on to the integrated part. Just for an example, Revit would be one of the most efficient way to do it, where you can find all those materials IDs and the object IDs as well. So in other question is like in which Revit versions 2022, 3, 4, and 5 we can call in Twinmotion functionality. So from 23 onwards, it has been applicable to each and every part. So it was firstly evolved with Revit 2023 version, where you need to install the Datasmith plugin. But as of now, it has been directly integrated. So you don't need to install any other sort of plugin to it to have a direct sync between both of the platforms. But it has been directly inbuilt incorporated within your system. So once you link that particular Revit file from view option to by Twinmotion, so it will automatically get synced onto the Twinmotion platform. So for this, you need to have Twinmotion installed on your system. It is nothing that is based out of cloud platform. So you need to have a separate solution named as Twinmotion onto your system. Then you can work interoperability between. Then you can work seamless interoperable between both of the platforms. Uh, so other question is like, can we change in Twinmotion, add objects and switch back to the same to Revit model? So I would say there is one-way process. So you can move your objects from Revit to Twinmotion. Integratively, it's not a two-way process from where you can sync Twinmotion model to Revit. But in case of changes you need to make, you can do those stuffs. Like for example, something on Revit is like box. Suppose I have a box setting which is already there in Revit, and I need to replace those particular box setting with certain other set of settings. So I can do that directly onto the Twinmotion. So I can replace those objects which were there in Revit onto the Twinmotion side, but I cannot reflect them back onto the Revit part. So now we will be moving ahead with the process of submission of the documents. So I'll be sharing my screen. So you guys might have received an email where you might be having an unique ID code which is being relevant with respect to your submission IDs, as well as you might have received a link through which you will get and direct access to BIM 360 platform where you need to upload your files onto the cloud platform. So you might have received this mail by submission link. So if anyone hasn't received, please just search it onto the inbox of your mail by having submission link, by typing submission link onto the search box. Similarly, with this, you can also search for other uh, things like BIM 360. So it will take you directly onto the project platform and where you can go on to click with go on to the project part, right? So you need to remember like this is your access ID where you need to submit your documents. So this would be in a form of folders in BIM 360 platform, and you can access it directly from this project link that you might have received on the mail. So I'm just clicking onto this link so that it can take me directly onto the platform where I need to submit my documents. Right. So if I just clicked on it, it took me directly onto the platform of BIM 360 where it asks me to sign in. So I can go with the sign in part. So this sign in should be very similar to what you have registered with the Designaddvance email ID, right? Mhm. And then you need to put your passwords, which you might have created during the time of registration. So now you can see it took me directly onto the BIM 360 platform where the thing says like it is the part of document management, and under we have design advance, which is the program name, right? Now we are talking about the 2024 version of it. So these part won't be applicable to you because you are the part of project member and I have been given an access of project administrator. So I have an access to all these folders, but for you, it would be only the folder in which you need to submit your documents. It will only be visible to you. So if I just say, so this is my folder, which is named as D24XXX. So here I need to put all my documents over here. So I'm going back to the Word document where you can see the submissions part. So this is something that you need to submit. So one is like design statement if you have, which should be in the form of PDF, and it should be written via this particular formatting. So code, so whatsoever is my code, like for example, D24XXX underscore then statement, right? So this would be the name of file which I need to upload it onto the particular BIM 360 platform under the folder. Similarly, if you have presentation, it should be in this particular ratio, which should be in the part of PDF format. And you need to write your code first and what it is presentation. So you should specify the name as presentation. Similarly, for the video format and the declaration format, you have this way to write it down, right? So if I'm just searching it on with that particular part, so this is my BIM 360 platform and under the folder. So once this has been activated, like with blue, once you double click onto the onto the folder, it will get activated. So now it turns into the blue part, right? And now here, from here, you can just upload or drag down your files. So I have a folder in desktop. I will search for it. Yeah. So now you can see I have certain documents, like if this is the PPT format or presentation in the part of formats. So you need to have it on to PDF, and then this has been described as D24XXX, and this is my presentation. Similarly, this is my statement, this is my video, and there are certain images. No worries. So I am just going to have any of two of them, and I will open it directly. So you can see now the files has been onto the part of upload. So since this has been buffering and it's going with the blue mark, you should make it happen unless it says your document has been published. Okay, so still it is pending. So once it has been done, it will be shown like your document has been uploaded. So then you need to move out of your folder. Otherwise, wait for a certain time because it also takes the internet connectivity part that is also related to the internet connectivity. So once this has been done, then move out of your folder, right? So this is why quite simple. Sorry, you just need to upload your files onto your specific folder where your specific uh, folder will only be applicable to you, right? And it's quite simple. Just go on to upload button option and make your files uploaded. In case suppose you need to change your file name from here as well, you can just go on to this particular file set and you can rename it from here. Right click and then go on to rename. So this is like three dots. From here you can have those things. Right? So if I click onto the three dots, it asks me for the renaming of it. So here also you can do the very similar sort of thing. D24 and it should be XXX and I can play it with underscore and suppose this is Revit file, so I'm writing it down as Revit. So just follow down the submission process which is been specified onto the website and work accordingly. So this is how you can rename your files over here as well. And if you have already files which has a proper naming convention, you can drag and drop them or upload them directly onto the interface. So one basic thing, one more thing I need to talk about is just this part. So if you are not able to access, you might also get an email which you might have received by going on to the project, right? So if I just move on to my mail and if I just type in here like BIM 360, so this is one of the mail which I have received, right? So similar mail you might have also received it. And here I haven't tapped for activating your membership because I was not the part of this particularly 2 days back, and now I am part of it. So it still asks me for the activation of your membership. But for you, it would be like go on to your project. So just click on to the go on to the project. It will take you directly onto something interface like this. So this would be the particular format where it will directly direct you with a particular folder which you have an access to, right? So you can double click onto the folder and can go on to upload files and upload your files over here. So this is quite simple. One more tricky thing which comes into play is something like this. So if there is certain options while logging in, so if you are receiving something, an option, something like this, BIM 360 account admin or project homepage, so you just need to click on the above two parts of it. So you can go with BIM 360 account admin. It will direct you onto the platform itself directly. And I will showcase what needs to be done at that particular case. Okay. So if I just click on to BIM 360 account admin, it will take me somewhere here. So once it takes you down over here, right? Then what you need to do is like from project admin, you need to shift on to the, so for you, it would be the account admin part. And from there, you need to shift on to the document management where we are going to upload our files, right? And over here, you just need to check it is the part of Designaddvance. So these are the two prospects of it. If that particular option appears to you while logging in or signing in, so just turn from project admin from this end to the document management. So it will take you directly where your folder structure is. And then under 24, so you would be having only your particular folder, suppose D24016. So then you can upload your files over here. So this is it. So if anyone is having any doubts with respect to the project submissions or your document submission, can portray that. So in case of any queries or doubt that you might have, so there is a WhatsApp group already, or there is an email where you can uh, connect with us in archons.world, connect.in.archons.world. So I just showcase you. You can share all your queries over here, and that would be get resolved. Just a second. So this is where you can connect. To to connect.in@arcans.world. So here you can reach out to us and we will get it resolved. Okay, then if anyone is having no, there are no further questions, we can wrap up this session. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day ahead.